Hi, I'm Melissa from Welcome to the Woods. In this video I'm going to be comparing different sanders. I am an avid DIYer and I have pretty much owned a random orbital sander the entire time to do all my sanding needs. However, recently I did some research into belt sanders and I decided to buy one. I learned a lot and I want to share that information with you because there is a difference between these two, what they're used for, and when you know the applications you can save a lot of time sanding. This video will also touch on other types of sanders, disc sanders, palm sanders, and finish sanders at the end of the video. Now our random orbital sander, this is the third one I've owned in my 8 years of doing DIY because I tend to abuse them, as many people do. I've learned now though, you should not press hard. It's basically a disc sander, but it's mounted on this sticky pad, your sanding discs. This little Velcro piece with holes in it that suck your sanding dust into your bag or into your shop vac if you have that hooked up. This is moving in like a circular pattern, and the reason it's called a random orbital sander is because it moves in random pathways so it doesn't show any sanding marks. That's the major benefit to a random orbital sander versus just a regular orbital sander. You hold them in one hand like this, so that's kind of nice. It only takes one hand to use it, and generally you can sand any direction with these, so they're perfect for furniture and fine finish sanding because they don't show any marks. You don't have to necessarily go with the grain. Now you can use random orbital sanders for a lot of applications, and as long as you can get your circular disc in the crevice, you can sand it. So it can get into some tighter spaces. However, the reason I've broken two of these in the past is it's easy to abuse them. They're not really meant to take down large sheet material or really take a lot of material off of something. I've tried in the past to use a random orbital sander to like strip paint off furniture, and it's taken hours and hours and hours, and that is what has led me now to learn about the belt sander. Now the way that a belt sander works is it has this loop of sandpaper and it's tensioned in between two rollers. So mine's like a 3" by 18" belt sander. So this just pops out. That's how you change the sandpaper. And it, like I said, it just goes in a loop. So because it moves in one direction, you gotta make sure you're sanding with the grain of the wood. Otherwise you're gonna see really bad sanding marks and you will be subject to gouging your piece. A belt sander is very heavy duty. The purpose of this sander is to really take material off of whatever you're working on. And I bought it to strip paint off of cabinets, which I successfully did fairly quickly. I was happy. You might have seen my last video where I showed that. But I moved in directions against the grain because I had to, since I was going across like skinny pieces of wood. I couldn't all go with the grain, and I caused some gouges and issues that then later on I had to go in with my random orbital sander to fix, flatten, and make look nice again. A belt sander is really beastly. It can take down like plywood sheets. It can sand the whole thing a lot faster and more efficient than a random orbital sander or anything else. You can get them hooked up to a shop vac, or you can use a bag again, because these create a lot of dust, probably more sanding dust than anything else I've used. I've also used a belt sander for very rough sanding. A good example is when I made a lamp out of a tree stump, and the wood cookie that I cut off the tree stump had bark, and I wanted to get all the bark down. So I used a belt sander along the edges, and that kind of got it smooth. I think another wonderful application for a belt sander is if you want to save some money at the lumber yard and you buy lumber that's only sanded on one side and rough on the other, you can use your belt sander to sand the other side yourself, and that will save a little bit of money. I would only do that in applications where I didn't need the back to be super smooth and it was mostly hidden, but I wanted it to be smoother than what comes off the shelf. Because a belt sander is so heavy duty, you do need to use two hands generally, unless you're a lot stronger than I am. And so it has a little knob here. You hold it like this, and you always try and keep it straight on your piece. And that's why this is best for large sheet material, because if you're using something smaller, you're going with this big heavy duty machine on the edge of something and it tilts slightly, it is going to mow through the wood and really damage it. Generally, I wouldn't use a belt sander. This is for kind of specific purposes. And if you're looking to buy just one sander, I would definitely say that the Random Orbital sander is the most versatile. Like I said, I have made it through tons of DIYs in the last 8 years, only owning one of these. Now, a belt sander, that's definitely the first sander you'd use if you're doing a big job. This is like beginning stages of sanding, and you would not put a fine grit sandpaper on here really in, I can't think of hardly any applications. This is what you come in with after your belt sander to actually sand your piece smooth, but this does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. You might be wondering, like, what are other sanders for? Why would I buy anything else? And in my opinion, you don't really need anything else. The only thing is a finish sander. So sometimes called palm sanders, they're like have a rectangle on the bottom, and these ones get a piece to a very, very fine finish, a very soft finish. And I generally feel like a Random Orbital sander can achieve it, except for the instance of a corner, because this is a circle, so you can't get into edges. That's where something like a mouse sander comes in, and I've showed in the past that I use my multi-tool with the sanding attachment. It's a triangle to get into corners. This is a type of finish sanding, and you can buy high grit sandpapers for this that can do the job. A disc sander, as far as I know, I've actually only used one once, typically is mounted flat, and then you put the piece against it. It's not like in the palm of your hand like this. It's not a tool that you apply to the material. You take the material and apply it to the disc sander, but it's just like this, where it's a spinning disc of sandpaper. There are probably other sanders that I'm missing, but I feel like with these two tools, pretty much everything you need as far as sanding, you're covered. And if you're looking to only buy one, start out with this one and see if you come across DIYs and projects where you need something more heavy duty. I hope that you learned a lot in this video, and if you did, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching Welcome to the Woods, this or that DIY. I really enjoy sharing these comparisons with you, and I've done a lot of other tools as well, saws, nailers, etc. So go check them out in the playlist. We will catch you again next time on Welcome to the Woods.